So in today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at this brush here, and this is probably an accessory that I get asked the most about in all my little sort of reels and things like that. So yeah, I thought I'd do a little bit of a deeper dive, talk a bit more about sort of the pros and cons of this brush and the different uses as well. So this is a Detail Factory Curveball, and there are a few things to point out that make this brush a little bit different. First off, it has really soft bristles, so this is perfect for dealing with those delicate areas where you're worried about scratching the finish using a slightly stiffer brush. The face of this brush is absolutely massive, so if I compare it to something like this, which is the standard Detail Factory brush, I'll do a little zoom in, but you can see it's just completely different. This is going to cover a massive area in a short space of time. This is obviously going to deal with those more intricate areas. Another thing that makes this brush a little bit different is the actual shape of it. So rather than the one here that has that longer handle, this of course has this round handle. So the idea is that it's just going to be more ergonomic compared to using one of those longer handle brushes where your hand can cramp up after a little while as you sort of pinch in the brush. This just does feel very nice and comfortable to use for longer periods of time. It also does have some rubberized sections and some grips, so it is really nice and sort of stable in your hand. You're not worried about dropping it, and it is just kind of quite comfy. Another little nice touch about this particular one is that it does come with a stand too, so I can just pop that in there. It's good because you can use it to dry it off. And it also just helps keep things a little bit nicer and neater. It does have some holes in the back as well if you want to mount this to either a wall in your garage, or I've seen some people use them in van setups, so nice little touch there, I'm glad they've included it. So now on to the uses. Now the biggest use of this particular brush, that I see at least, is for interior cleaning. You can split this into two parts. First off, it can be used for interior dusting of large areas like sort of the dashboard, but you can get into those more intricate areas. Obviously the bristles are pretty flexible, and this is great if you keep on top of your interior. You're just looking to sort of dry dust those areas and keep them fresh on a well-maintained vehicle. The thing that's quite handy about using this for dusting is that in the interior in particular, having sort of that flat angle, rather than if you're using a longer handle brush, you have to sort of twist your hand and it can be a bit awkward to reach those flatter surfaces. Obviously you can just throw sort of straight down on it, and it is a little bit more ergonomic. I do find that quite useful. The other way you can use it in the interior is of course to agitate chemicals on hard surfaces, so you can use it on leather surfaces or plastics. I personally don't find it to be the best sort of piece of equipment to do that kind of agitation, as the bristles are really soft, so you've got to let the chemical really do its thing rather than the actual bristles of the brush if you're using this method. So it does still work, but yeah, on anything that requires a deeper clean, it's going to need a bit more scrubbing power, so I use things like those little scrub pads by Into Detailing, the ones I use, and they're sort of a little bit better, I find, for harder surfaces. What I use this for mainly though is actually cleaning the exterior, and I really like it on glossy grills or any sort of areas on the vehicle that are really sort of super shiny and you don't want to use anything more aggressive on them. Obviously the more intricate areas I do tend to use the regular Detail Factory brush, but on huge grills this cuts down time massively, and yeah, I do think it's a really good piece of equipment for that. Also, you can use it for other areas on the exterior, like the wheel faces, if you're looking for a more gentle brush. If you don't like using mitts, for example, this is a lot more ergonomic than using a brush with a handle, as yeah, like I said, you're not going to get that cramping from pinching the brush. And finally, you can use this brush to actually apply tyre dressings. Not something I do personally, as I don't want to kind of mucky up this brush. I've got other pieces of equipment that I can use for that, so I don't really do it, but yeah, apparently it is really good at that if you want to give it a go. In terms of negatives of this brush, the only really one that I can point out is the cost. This is a pricey brush, so yeah, that is the only thing that's going to really put people off. There are sort of cheap knockoff versions of these. I can't say how good quality they are. Obviously I haven't tried them because I've just got sort of the original one. I can't knock the quality of this one though. It's not lost any bristles, and yeah, it just stays looking nice and fresh. So yeah, I'm really happy with this one. What I'm going to do is pop a link to this brush in the description so you can check it out if you're interested. If you have found this video useful, it'd be brilliant if you could drop it a like, and thanks for watching.